All right, tested 1, 2, 3. All right, tested 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rafkas Kadash. All right, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone rule well. That have taught me this word in truth and sincerity. All right, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, starting with 144,000. I've also pushed this word in truth and sincerity of all corners of the earth. Spell serving a moth, all right, of GMS Toronto, coming at you again with another live lesson. And this could be another edition of Doomsday Prophecies, okay? And as you see, the topic here at hand is Esau and Babylon are greatly despised, okay? Esau, Edom, right, and Babylon are greatly despised. Babylon being AKA America, okay? Esau, Edom, so-called or self-proclaimed white person, self-proclaimed white man, or so-called white man, okay? That's his biblical nationality, okay? And they are the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, all right? And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the physical counterpart of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai on earth, okay? And all these events that are taking place, it's a matter of good versus evil, Jacob versus Esau. As prophetically, when we look, I'm going to open up with these two precepts. I got a clip I'm going to play. Actually, I got a couple clips I'm going to play. And low willingness, less than straightforward and edifying to the whole full elect, of course. All right. At the end, all right, of this time, okay, this is what 2 Ezra 6 and 9 tells us. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world." Okay, so Esau, Edom, who the world even calls Caucasian, okay, or white man, their biblical nationality is of the patriarch Esau, who's the brother of Jacob. Okay, so it says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob, right, is the beginning of it that followeth." So right around the fall of Esau, Edom, Jacob, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you speckled birds out there, would be waking up to your heritage. All right, the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, which by default is the kingdom of Israel, would be established at the downfall, all right, of Esau, Edom's rulership. Okay, so let's go here to Isaiah 47 and 1. All right, and I'm going to read down to 9. I'm going to pull something out from chat. So I'll go back and forth in between the NLT. It says here in the King James, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Okay, sit, which is America, right? Sit on the ground. There is no throne. Okay, the American empire is dwindling right before our eyes, and that's prophecy. Okay, O daughter of the Chaldeans, okay, which are the top wicked elite international bankers, all right, which are the small hats, okay? And when you go into that word, those were the wise men of that time, okay? America has been the patsy for the top wicked elite, all right, these international bankers, which are um, uh, tiny, small hats, I'll just say small hats. Those are the small hats, okay? And we're at the time now where they've had their fill with America. They're done, right? And what their ultimate plan is to do is to draw America into war, World War III, ultimately destroying it and the people therein and various people across the four corners of the earth, right? To re-emerge from the ashes like the phoenix, okay, which goes back to the Egyptians, to rule the new world, the so-called rule the new world, okay. But as the scripture says, as prophecy dictates, the kingdom that's getting ready to be established is the kingdom of Israel. Okay, so it says, "O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Okay, take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover thy thigh, pass over the rivers, right? Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. And we're in a time right now where this devil, his shame is being exposed throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. And who's spearheading that right now in Babylon, aka America? Trump, aka Nero 47. Okay. So thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. That's talking about Yahushua. Right? And the top we can at least know this. The Yahushua is coming back to war with them. That's ultimately what they're preparing for as well. As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Okay, for thou shalt no more be called Lady of Kingdoms. Okay, NLT says, O beautiful Babylon, sit now in darkness and silence. Never again will you be known as the Queen of Kingdoms. And this is what we're witnessing, the downfall of the American Empire, which is synonymous with the downfall of the Edomite Empire. Okay. And this is why this man is hastening. Okay. He's hastening, as the scriptures tell us, knowing he has a short time, he's going to come down with great wrath. Right. And that starts at the very top of the nation of Edom, being the top, the international bankers. Okay. The top wicked elite. I'll read verse 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I had polluted my inheritance, right, by putting us into captivity under Esau, Edom, and really all nations, right? But the last captivity, which would be the worst captivity, would be under these Edomites. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand, and thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, right? NLT, for I was angry with my chosen people and punished them by letting them fall into your hands. But you, Babylon, showed them no mercy. You oppressed even the elderly, right? This devil took it further than was needed, okay? With us being in captivity under him. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, and so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end. NLT, you said, I will reign forever as a queen of the world. Okay, so this is their inward thought of the average American, right up to the president and his his uh his uh his band of criminals. Okay, that's all they are. Okay, um, it says, you did not reflect on your actions, even though the Most High sent prophets. You see, the prophets themselves are a sign that the Most High is getting ready to destroy Babylon the Great, aka America. Because before he destroys the place, what does he do? He sends out warnings, he sends out prophets to speak his destruction, his actions, his judgments into existence before they come to demonstrate his power. All right. So we're definitely in that time. Okay. And if you or whoever you follow doesn't think so, they don't got the Holy Spirit on them. Simply put, they have no understanding. Right. And if you keep following a leader that's telling you that the nuclear missiles are not going to come in our time, or Jacob's trouble is not happening in our time, or the MOTB isn't an RFID chip, you're following a hireling. Okay. You're following a false prophet, because anybody with a quarter of a brain, even Esau Edom, all right, knows that we're in the time of World War III, and we're also in the time of the MOTB, right? Don't sleep with this war on technocracy. The technocracy, the age of technocrats ruling, all right, is right upon us as well. And the infrastructure is already set up. You just need the greatest or the next big crises, so to speak, okay, to completely condition the people into taking the MOTB. So we're clearly in the time when you look around, if you see the prophecies, or if you, if you see the prophecies playing out. Okay. So let me continue on. It says, you said, I will reign forever as a queen of the world. You did not reflect on your actions or think about your consequences. Listen to this, you pleasure loving kingdom. living at ease and feeling secure. You say I am the only one and there is no other. I will never be a widow or lose my children. Well, both these things will come upon you in a moment. Widowhood and the loss of your children. Yes, these calamities will come upon you. All right. And may I add, okay, it's coming upon you by your own government, all right, by your own leaders who are really working for foreign leaders, international bankers. Okay, calamities. These calamities will come upon you, despite all your witchcraft and magic. Okay, so you're not going to be able to chant this away. Babylon is not going to be able to chant these calamities away that are coming for America, the Great America, aka Babylon the Great. There is no way. There's no way. There's no getting out of this. Prophecy is not going to turn back. All right. So let's get this clip here. Um, Make sure this is the right one. This is from Arrows of the Indignation. All right, 144. Let me. Okay. Before we go there, let's get this and then we'll go up. This one's from um, Everybody Hates E. All right, the whole full like 3. Subscribe and be edified. Precept Proverbs 14-17. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly. It says, and a man of wicked devices is hated. Beautiful. Oh, the audio is not working. So actually, this is why you always gotta double check. Jesus, why is it not working? Let's try this again. Boom, boom.
How's everybody doing today? I never thought I could ever hate someone as much as I hate him. Not in a million years. I don't care if the maggots say I have TDS. If I have TDS, so does the rest of the damn world. I don't care how it happens. It just needs to happen before he causes more death and destruction to all of us. God bless everyone, except him.
So even the regular Edomite is through with all right, um the bastard relatives called the Amalekites. Let's go here. Yes.
40 nations are currently.
This one's from Arrows of Indignation 144. The tables have turned. The nations are cutting Babylon off from all trade. Nero has effed up. Okay. And this was posted about 9 days ago.
In talks to basically cut the United States, because of Donald Trump, out of global trade. There are 195 recognized nations/countries on planet Earth. 195. 40 of them, led by Canada, banding together to just cut out the United States. So more than 1/5 of the planet working on a way to not have to deal with the United States anymore. This includes our neighbors to the north, Canada, our neighbors to the south, Mexico. This includes the European Union and the United Kingdom. This includes major Asian countries like Japan. According to these reports, and again, this is kind of all being, spearheaded by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, what they're trying to do is avoid all of the tariffs that Donald Trump has put in place on everybody. And then, of course, they have typically had to do reciprocal tariffs. So everything for them gets more expensive because they're dealing with the United States. So all of these nations have gotten together and said, wow, dealing with the United States is expensive and it's costing us business. How do we get around that? And their solution is, well, what if we all just trade with each other and not these idiots? And that is currently what they're working on. So instead of relying on the US market to sell their goods, they're going to just start selling to each other and open up new markets that previously hadn't been there. They will grow. They will expand. They will see this financial boom from doing business and trading with everybody in this new coalition. And we, those of us here in the United States, will lose everything. Oh, sure, we'll still have to buy their goods because we depend upon them, and Trump will still have the tariffs, so we'll still pay a higher cost for that. But our goods here in the United States, they're already having a hard time selling overseas, just ask any farmer. We will lose those markets. Farmers who are already facing financial ruin, which is exactly what they told Congress about 3 weeks ago, they're going to go under. They will lose everything. Manufacturing here in the United States will go extinct virtually. Because sure, we'll still need to make some things to sell to us here in America, but we're not going to have other countries coming to us, knocking on our door saying, hey, can we buy all this stuff from you? Foreign companies that have invested in the United States, or at least pledged, as Trump says, they'll pull out. They'll go with their new trading partners. They'll move their plants to Canada. Maybe they'll move them to Japan or Europe or anywhere else in Asia or perhaps Mexico. The United States, if this coalition does, do what they're hoping to be able to do.
Yep. So let's get some precepts before we continue on. So let's get Obadiah 1, and we'll read from 2 to 5. I'm actually going to get this in NLT. It's Obadiah 1 and 2. It says, the Lord Yahweh says, says to Edom, I will cut you down to size among the nations. You will be greatly despised. All right. And this is what we're witnessing, as you heard him go into how all these nations are basically figuring out a way to cut out America, aka Babylon the Great, from trade, because it's becoming more than a headache to deal with Babylon the Great since Nero 47 has been at the helm. Right? He's been shooting out tariffs to everybody, mocking everybody who are supposed to be his allies, okay, messing up business, especially with this move he did with Iran. Now you're, effing up the money. So you've been nothing but a headache, okay, and you've been proud. Let me get this precept real quick, and I'll go back to Obadiah. This is Revelation. So this is prophecy playing out right before our eyes, man. Revelation 17 and 17. For Yahweh, Ba'ashim Shai. Oh, no. Let's go verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns, right, which thou sawest upon the beast, right, NATO and the EU, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's ultimately Third World War, okay? Thermonuclear war. Now, even though these nations are stepping back and so-called not partaking in this proxy war, right, with Iran and the small hats in America, eventually they're going to band together and they're going to get involved. And they're going to get involved in taking down Babylon the Great, aka America, as the prophecy dictates here. Okay? So this will happen. And whether they like it or not, they will fulfill prophecy. In NLT, continuing on, it says, verse Obadiah 1 and 3, you have been deceived by your own pride, because you live in a rock fortress and make your home high in the mountains, right? And we know that's how these Amalekites dwell. They like to dwell, right, in mountains, right? Even really the nation, right? They dwell in far, like look up, is it Petra? I got Google Earth right now. Petra, that's where they dwelt. Okay, but when you look at Amalek, they specifically like to dwell in mountain terrains, mountainous regions. Let me ask chat here real quick. Hey chat, was Amalek known All right, the tribe of Amalek, were they known for living in mountainous regions? And then there's a Petra. Yep. And look at the architecture, right? Roman style. Roman style. This is where they dwelt, man. Okay. Roman style architecture, showing you that the Edomites were the ancient Romans, the pagan Romans, but the Byzantine Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, that was Jake. Okay. Look at that. Okay, red too. That's symbolic of Edom. He came out hairy like a red coat. They dyed um, coats, hairy coats red, but he was translucent, right? He's without melanin. Now we'll see what Chas had to say for us here. Yes, right? Yes, plain and simple. The tribe of Amalek was strongly associated with rugged, elevated terrain, though not exclusively confined to it, right? So, Amalekites were descendants of Amalek, Genesis 36 and 12. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. We already know all this. But here's the key. But yeah, you get the point. Terrain style. They weren't city builders. Later, they weren't city builders. Later empires, they were nomadic raiders, okay? Masters of ambush warfare. Look at that. Okay? That's the top we can lead today, the international bankers and these small hats, okay? They're masters of ambush warfare. This is why propaganda is a huge weapon, a tool for these guys. Okay, you got propaganda warfare as well. Comfortable in rough, broken land, hills, wilderness, and mountain eagles or mountain edges. Think of them less like settlers and more like shadows moving along high ground, striking from above, vanishing into the terrain. Exactly. And that's what they do. That's how these devils operate. They attack, they ambush, and then they vanish and leave everybody pointing at the wrong person, or pointing at each other. But also, right, this is also, it says they're striking from above, striking from above. This is also why they're associated with the eagle. Okay, associated with the eagle. So going back here, it says, you have been, Obadiah 1 and 3, you have been deceived by your own pride because you live in a rock fortress. Okay, now prophetically and symbolically, when you look at America, America is likened to a rock fortress, right? Um, Basically through their military. Okay, don't get it twisted. America has some things, man. Okay, and make yourself home. And a rock fortress basically goes into being impenetrable. But the Lord now has made them penetrable. Okay, but before, right at their height, they were impenetrable. Again, this is why you have that pride in America. And make your home high in the mountains, right? And uh, parabolically, mountains also symbolic for governments. Okay, so they've made themselves above all governments on the earth. Okay, so it says, who can ever reach us way up here? Right? Who can ever stop us? Okay, shock and awe. Who can ever reach us way up here? You ask boastfully. But even if you soar as high as eagles and build your nest among the stars, right? Space stations, satellites, I will bring you crashing down, says the Lord. Okay, and that really happened in the late 60s, early 70s. That's also when this truth came out. Okay, when the Israelites started to wake up. If thieves came at night and robbed you, what a disaster awaits you. They would not take everything. Those who harvest grapes always leave a few for the poor, but your enemies will wipe you out completely. Exactly. Every nook and cranny of Edom will be searched out and looted. Every treasure will be found taken. Okay, and in the King James it says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are the hidden things sought up?" Okay, verse 7, and everything's being searched out, man. It all started, all right, with prophecy. The words of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Shai, which is spoken by the mouth of the prophets. Okay, these are the prophets, the mouthpiece of the Most High. All men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, and they that eat thy bread have laid a wound, right? So partaking in the financial system. That's what it means by eating thy bread. All the nations that hold dollars are laying a snare for America, aka Babylon the Great, because they're sick and tired of this whore. Okay? Do they all agree with a digital system? Of course, they all agree to a digital system. But with this new system, they don't want America at the helm of it. America was at the helm of the old system, which was the fiat system, and they already know how that went, as they're realizing and have been seeing for years how that went. Okay, so now they're sick and tired, and they're ready for America to be done and away with, while they, you know, so-called have taken X in this new digital system that's being set up. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All in NLT, all your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive you and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. America's done. Okay, Babylon is done. Let's get to the next precept here. This is Isaiah 37 and 1. I'm actually going to start at 21. So Isaiah 37 and 21, right? And it reads, Then Isaiah, son of Amos, sent out Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of Israel, whereas thou prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria, right? And this is during the time of when he was coming to the king of Assyria. Sennacherib was coming to overthrow and take out the southern kingdom of Judah, before they went after the northern kingdom. But the Most High sent an angel to take out 185,000 of the Assyrian warriors. Okay, so he went home with the tail between his legs. And I think his sons ended up killing him when he went back home. But prophetically, you can apply this to America, because America is spiritually Assyria as well, coming back. So verse 22, it says, This is the word which the Lord Yahweh has spoken concerning him. The virgin daughter of Zion, he despises thee, despises thee, right? And the virgin daughter of Zion, really, right now, is the elect, starting with 144,000. Okay, they're also considered virgins when you read about them in Revelation, the 7th chapter. Why? Because they never strayed into other doctrines. It's not talking about literal virgins as in the fact that they didn't have sex or they didn't have wives, but rather they didn't sway into other doctrines. Okay, women is prophetic and symbolic for doctrines as well. So that's what it means by them being virgins. So the virgin daughter of Zion, the elect, hath despised thee, you see, and laughed thee to scorn. And are we not doing that? When we prophesy, we mock. We're mocking our enemy in our captivity while he has us in captivity. That's power. And we're telling him what he's going to do before he does it. Okay? So the Lord is using us already in a great way. As I said earlier, the prophets would be used as a sign. Okay? So has despised thee and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her hand at thee. Okay? It says here, verse 23, Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? NLT, whom have you been defying and ridiculing? Against whom did you raise your voice? At whom did you look with such haughty eyes? You see, it was the Holy One of Israel. And this is what we're letting America know, starting with the top wicked elite, that your pride, all right, is going to get you judgment, heavy judgment from Yahweh Bashim Shai, which is going to lead to your captivity under us, the Israelites. And America is known for its boastfulness, its pride, and its haughtiness, especially towards the scriptures and righteousness. How are you going to be a God-fearing country when you have the Epstein list? Your whole government, every leading expert in every industry is a pedo, and so much more. Okay, more so of a God-fearless country, not a God-fearing country, a God-fearless country. Okay. Verse 24, by thy servants hast thou reproached the Lord, and hast said, by the multitude of my chariots am I come up to the height of the mountains, to the side of Lebanon, and I will cut down the tall cedars thereof, and the choice fir trees thereof, and I will enter into the heights of the border, and the forest of Carmel, of his Carmel. Oh, shoot, my mouse is bugging out now. Satan. Bear with me, all. Beautiful. Okay, fine. Set up a quick prayer, and the mouse works. Where was supposed to read through? Yeah, let me continue on. I'm actually going to continue on. I'll read this verse in the NLT. It says, by your messengers you have defiled your Lord. You have defiled the Lord. You have said, with many chariots I have conquered the highest mountains, right? The military might, prophetically speaking to America. We know historically it's talking about ancient Assyria, but prophetically, America is dominated through its military might and weaponizing the financial system. I have conquered the highest mountains, all the governments. Yes, the remote peaks of Lebanon I have cut down its tallest cedars and its finest cypress trees. I have reached its farthest heights and explored its deepest forest. Yeah, because the land is under strangers. Okay. And we know as well, Israel is a people before it's a place. So it's twofold as well. You can apply it to the people. But they're literally in the land doing whatever they want with it. As the scriptures tell us, strangers devour your land in front of you. Okay. I have digged and drunk water, and with the sole of my feet I have dried up all the rivers and besieged and dried up all the rivers of the besieged palaces. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought you to pass, and thou shouldest be to lay waste defense cities into ruinous heaps, right? So NLT says, but have you not heard? I decided this long ago. Let me actually read 25. I have dug up wells in many foreign lands, right? And really the top wicked elites, right? The international bankers have used America to do all these things. Okay. It really starts with them. I have dug up wells in many foreign lands. Yep. And, and basically siphoning all their resources. Okay. And refreshed myself with their water. Exactly. Their resources. With the sole of my foot, I have stooped up all the rivers of Egypt, and America has been completely infiltrated and taken over by the international bankers centuries ago. Okay. And it says here, but have you not heard? I I decided this long ago. This is what the Lord is saying. Long ago, I planned it, and now I'm making it happen. So this is the Lord's work. This is Yahweh Bashim El Shai's work, man. The Most High declared this long ago, and he has sent his prophets to declare before it takes place. I planned for you to crush fortified cities into heaps of rubble. Okay? This is why their people have so little power and are so frightened and confused. They are as weak as grass and easily trampled as tender green shoots, showing you the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. Okay, they are like grass sprouting on a housetop, scorched before it can grow lush and tall. But I know you well, where you stay at. Hey, yo, this is, the Most High is Jake, man. Holy, this is Jake. This is how Jake talks, right? It says, "But I know you well, where you stay and when you come and go. I know the way you have raged against me." Okay, and because of the raging against me and your arrogance, which I heard for myself, I will put my hooks into your nose and a bit and my bit in your mouth. So the Most High Yahweh is controlling Trump, aka Nero 47, to do everything he's doing to bring about the destruction and demise and downfall of the American empire, which is synonymous with the Edomite empire. Okay, to glorify his name and his son's name. I will make you return the same road which you came. Okay. And America's inception, okay, came by war. So America's destruction is going to go out by war. So they will come in, the Lord's going to make them go back the same way they came, by war. Okay. Destruction, ultimately. So let's go to the next clip. This will be the last clip of our war precept, and that'll be it. Let's get this one here. Okay, we're already there. This one's also from Arrows of Indignation 144. Okay, we're going to start up here.
Killed 165 people, many of them between the ages of 8 and 10 years old. Want people to get hurt, and they don't care that we bombed a school of Iranian children. They don't care that a Tomahawk missile ripped through a school and killed 165 people, many of them between the ages of 8 and 10 years old. They don't care because many parts of this country are a moral black hole. They're a moral black hole where there is no morality. They're amoral. You say, well, maybe they have bad morals. No. They have no morals. They're a black hole. Those are the people that are cheering on what's happening right now in Iran. They cheered on what happened in Iraq. Okay, 20 years after that, everyone in this country has less money on average. People do not own homes. People still don't have health care. People are in no better position financially than they were, except the top tier. And those are the same people that cheered that on. They're cheering this on.
I think we're in the amount of it's just lands. 2025. The article date was saying 2023, but the amount of mayhem created, I think we're
tier. And those are the same people that cheered that on. They're cheering this on.
I think we're an incredibly merciless country. The amount of murder and mayhem that we've created around is just unbelievable. We're just looking at this lands in which it's semantic. They started on the internet in November 2025. The article was elected sanctions, American sanctions, 1971 to 2021. 1971 to 2021. They asked for the consequences of those sanctions. When we murdered 38 million people. 38 million people. The amount of we have run.
You hear that? So 38 million people killed from 1971 to just in 30 years, basically. Or sorry, in 50 years. 1971 to 2021. So in 50 years, that's 1/4 of America's lifespan. So 1/4, right? Because 250 years. So in 1/4 of America's lifespan, 38 million people have been killed. And that's just the number they're giving us. So this place has to go. So you times that by 4. Right? Because 250 years. And really, that's 5, slacking. Times it by 5.
Literally, every years, because honey, consequences of the Iraq war. Places like Venezuela, Cuba, Iran. You understand we're using this tremendous economic leverage we have to basically starve people, to make them suffer, to inflict great punishment on them, so that they'll rise up against their government. You understand that this is what we're doing in Venezuela. This is what we're doing in Iran. We're inflicting mass punishment on these people. Think of all that. Yeah. Find it very difficult to talk about the United States.
And the top wicked elites, he's just talking about what America's doing, but the top wicked elites are doing that with all the governments throughout the four corners of the earth. This is why this whole Strait of Hormuz is escalating, and we're using it as not just an oil choke point, but it's also a global trade choke point, food choke point. This is going to affect everything, which is going to cause people everywhere to rise up against their governments. That's Second Ezra 15th chapter, right? They should not have any care for their kings nor their princes. Okay, because of why? Because of the famine, because of troubles and tribulations.
Country. I just don't think that we are exceptionally virtuous when it comes to foreign policy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let's get this last precept here. This Nahum, all right, chapter 3, verse 1. Okay, so it says here, woe to the bloody city is full, it is all full of lies and robbery. And the prey departeth not. NLT says, what sorrow awaits Nineveh, right? And again, historically, it's talking about Nineveh, but prophetically and spiritually, that's America, aka Babylon the Great. What sorrow awaits Nineveh, the city of murder and lies? She is crammed with wealth and never without victims. Yep, until now. Okay. It says the noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. All this represents the commerce. Okay. All the trade and all the business that goes on in America, right? Especially in Wall Street, okay, and various other places. The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpse. They stumble upon their corpse. So remember what I read in Psalms or Isaiah 37, Isaiah 37 and 29, where the Lord is going to put a bit in their nose, and the way they came in is the way they're going to go out. So we're talking about death and bloodshed, all right, in groves like the earth has never seen before. That's what the Lord's bringing, all right, and especially to Babylon the Great, as it says here in NLT. See the flashing swords and the glittering spears, right? So martial law, right? Weapons, bloodshed, and the chariots charge past. There are countless casualties, heaps of bodies, so many bodies that people stumble over them. Okay? And it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, America, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through whoredoms, right? Philosophies, okay, and everything, really, everything. Okay. And families through her witchcraft. Okay. Behold, I am, and the witchcraft represents basically the technology. You go into technology, right? As well as the education. Okay, because damn near every home has a TV. And as soon as you have a television, that's it. That's witchcraft right in front, right in your living room. Let alone your phone, right, and other devices. These things program you. Okay, if the Holy Spirit's not dealing with you. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness. Right? So basically your wickedness, who you really are. Okay? And the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee. Right? The Epstein files was a taste of that, and there's so much more. And make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. Okay? NLT, I will cover you with filth and show the world how vile you really are. Okay? And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who will bemourn her? Whence shall I seek comforters for thee? right? NLT, all who see you will shrink back and say, Nineveh lies in ruins. Where are the mourners? There ain't nobody gonna mourn the destruction of America, really. Yeah, you'll have all these CEOs and um, corporate um, workers and leaders that made a lot of money off of America, and that's what they're gonna mourn. But America in itself, ain't nobody. Everybody's waiting for this place to go, especially Trump. Okay, the nations are definitely the rulers of these nations are definitely waiting for this place to go. Okay, does anyone regret your destruction? Right? Are you? Yeah, that's basically the point. Yeah, that's basically the point. That's it, man. You know. So yeah, man, this place is cooked. All right, Esau and Babylon is greatly despised, man, and we're witnessing America's downfall, which is synonymous with the Edomite. All right, the Edomite Empire falling as well, and we're in beautiful times, man. This is high time to wake out of sleep and to be in overdrive, man. Right, in building up our faith and serving Yahweh Shai as we witness the fall of our enemy, man. So that's it. Lord willing, this lesson was straightforward and edifying to the hopeful elect. I'm going to close by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rafah Kadash. All right, double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught me this word in truth and sincerity. Okay, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, starting with 144,000. That's also pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Abba, Kwama Sha'ala, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this lesson was straightforward and edifying.